I spent half of my life getting over you, and now you come back doing those things that you do. Breaking my heart and making me start from scratch. How could you not think that this was too rash? I made my decision and I hope I can keep it, but with the look in your eyes, I think I may just deceive it. I'm weak, we peaked, and now you speak. How could you seek me to love you again? I can't spare this change. I needed to change lanes. Why can't you move on? Why can't I just change lanes? From the beginning, I knew the last inning, and now you say what I prayed for so long, and you come back to me with a suitcase and a song? Just look at my heart. It's black from your ash, and now this opportunity? Why don't you just kiss my ass? That's about the last time. Okay. All right. So next up we have Karen.
Yeah. Oh, it was great that you did that before me. You're not from Israel. You're not that dark. I bet you're from Denmark. Russia? Germany. Sweden. Oh. The taxi driver transforms from jolly good fella to reserved and suspicious. I wonder what questions will pop up now. Probably something vicious. So, I heard there's a lot of Muslims in Sweden. Yes, here we go, getting further and further away from the Garden of Eden. There are some, yes, but that's not the main thing that makes me stressed. Oh, you Europeans are so naive. You see, the Muslims got bad stuff up their sleeves. The radical extremists, you mean, I say, trying to be clear. He looks confused and seems to be thinking, oh dear. Yes, Yeladim? No, I answer, and he gives me a grin. That's why you're not afraid, but just wait and see. In a few years, they will make your kids flee. I pray with every fiber of my body and mind that I will never absorb whatever it is that seems to make you blind. My kids will grow to love regardless of race and religion. I won't let fear narrow their vision. He sighs and chokes a laugh. I can tell that he doesn't even want to listen to half of what I'm saying because it's not his reality, and although I understand he's been through some bad stuff, I've had about enough. I look out the window and feel tired of it all. Similar to how I imagine feeling if I would repeatedly hit my head against a wall. I note how alike we all are. Even more so now, looking at my home country from afar. How ironic that in Sweden I have to defend Israel because of bad media reports, trying to convince the Swedes that we do not like killing children or do it as a sport. Why is that Israel acting this way? Like, how much more should the Palestinians pay? And this conflict, isn't it getting quite old? Can't you just tell them to do as they're told? And you, as a Jew with roots from the Holy Land, can't you just tell them to join hands? Do it yourself, you ignorant fuck. And while you're at it, why don't you tell them they no longer have to duck from rockets that are falling over their heads, making their children wet their beds? That Hamas is capable of sitting down for a nice conversation, that this is all in our imagination. Oh, thank God, Hashem and Lord, that your little House on the Prairie character just joined the board. How I love to be caught in the middle, being the spokesperson for this riddle. How people always assume they're entitled to my opinion, They come at me like an army of small yellow minions. This is not my first time, I must admit. This poem probably doesn't really fit, but I hope I can come back when I can say that this was the first time discussing the conflict that didn't end in a bad way.
Woo!
Oh, Karen, you have to pick the next person.
Oh, fuck. It's Daniel.
Daniel. All right, we all know that struggle. All right, basic bitches, we got an 8.5. That's co.il, 8.5. Tied. Just judging, we got a 6. Good try, but we got a 6. Come on, let me hear it. You guys, I need some interaction. I need some company up here. Come on. Judge Judy, 7.5. So we're going to drop one of the 6s. How we looking over there? All right. We have 5, right? Okay. Yep. Awesome. All right. Give it up for the performer, not for the score. All right. Thank you. And here's Daniel.
I always wanted a dog. My parents would tell me, you're not responsible enough. You're not going to walk it, you're going to hug it for 2 days, and you're going to forget it exists. And I told them that's true, maybe, but maybe not. How can you know? As a 13-year-old, we know a lot of different things. And I told them our previous animals weren't really the same proactive, loving, thinking creatures. We had fish. My brother dumped the fish food into the tank and they all died. If you're not smart enough to know not to eat yourself to death, you're not going to catch a frisbee or answer when I call your name. And then we got hamsters. Number one lie of hamsters, they don't run on the wheel. They don't know what to do with the wheel. They sit, they eat, they also die. But my parents were adamant. They said, we're not going to give you a dog. And then an opportunity presented itself when I was 13 years old. My friend Shlomo, who loved animals, found 2 puppies under a bridge. And he told me, well, Daniel, do you want one? So imagine the following scenario. I walk into the living room Friday afternoon, Jerusalem. My mother is getting ready for Shabbat. Mommy, can we have a dog? Daniel, we talked about this. Why? Because there's one outside the door. So she looks, this tiny little, probably mostly a Labrador, was there. So, with lack of choice, deciding to give it possibly a chance because they didn't know where to return it to, on a Friday afternoon in Jerusalem, we ran to the Malcha Mall and started buying various things you get for pets. A dog bowl, a leash, a collar, whatever else that it is. And I had the dog for the weekend, and we played, and it was wonderful. I tried to get the dog to walk, wouldn't follow with a leash, the tiny puppy. And finally, when I was frustrated and walked away, he followed me. And we walked around the block like that. And I felt that we would be good friends. And I then was given the question of, what do you name a dog? So I thought, like any good 13-year-old, what athlete do I love? And there was a basketball player on the New York Knicks, a team which never wins, named Latrell Sprewell, who strangled his coach. So I decided to name my dog Sprewell. A Russian neighbor, Alexandra, she told me, "Az ma shem shel kelev." And I told her, Sprewell, because a W is a V in Hebrew. And she said, Tikra lo Ben. Ben ze shem tov. But I didn't. I stuck with Sprewell. There was no nickname possible for that. And time progressed. The thing was that as a 13-year-old, I was in school, and I had after-school activities. Because I couldn't walk the dog all the time, I took part of my room, I put plastic on the floor, and if the dog would make a mess, I would clean it up later. And the first week was wonderful. And every day when I'd come home at 4 o'clock, the dog would be happy to see me, we'd walk without a leash, and we would play. And it would be great. But my mom kept pointing out, Daniel, I'm the one who was walking in the afternoon and in the evening. And for me, I understood that, but I had to go to school. Mom, do you want me to leave school to walk the dog? I will. I would have left school for lesser reasons than this dog. You know, when you come to Israel and suddenly there's no Sunday off, believe me, you'll take anything. And then one day, I came home, and I went up to my room, and I opened the door, and Spriel was gone. The plastic was there, nothing had moved, but I knew somewhere inside that I guess, not acknowledging to myself, that this had been building over time. And I asked my mom, and she said, listen, every day he'd be scratching at the door. He would be whining. And I was the one who was walking him, and it wasn't fair. And there was another family who wanted a puppy, who have kids who were younger than teenagers, who wanted to play with him. And that was the first time that I felt something had been taken from me unilaterally without my control. And this was a precursor to the time of the army. They didn't let me out for a friend's wedding. Or that time with a relationship with someone where you really want to try and they don't want to no matter what. And the phone is ringing. But despite that, what I do realize is that for Spriel at least, things ended up being better. And I got a bit of closure when I visited that family a year later. Spriel was a lot larger, running around with a personality, loved canned tuna, did not like the vet, and his new name was Barney in This Better Life. And Barney's nickname was Ben.
Sophia, you're up next. Sophia's on deck. Thank you. So I had a dog whose name was Elu, and Elu means nothing really in Hebrew. It means if only. But when we asked my brother when he was 13 and got the dog what Elu meant, he said, oh, Elu's dog in Japanese. When my brother turned 14, he failed Japanese, and we found out that Inu is dog in Japanese. Anyway, that's my dog story. Basic bitches, we have a 7.5. 7.5. 5. Yo, these just judging. These gangster right here. All right, good try, but 8.5. And Judge Judy gives a 9. All right, so we dropped the 5, we dropped the 9. All right, we're good over there. All right, Sophia.
I'm going to try my best to explain exactly what I saw that night. That first encounter. You're going to think I'm crazy, and it would be difficult to prove otherwise, but I promise it's all true. I had been loafing the day away at my associate's place, not too far away from the Roswell Mill. At approximately 2300 hours, we decided we were going to take a ride over to the Taco Bell and get us something to quench the munchies. We drive down the street, get to a stop sign, and suddenly things got weird. I look out over the mountain pass, the mountain top, behind the mill, and in the blink of an eye, a luminous green orb zings into the sky and freezes mid-air in position. It was round and big and definitely not American. It stayed stagnant there for a moment and then dropped down at lightning speed and disappeared into the mountain pass. My comrade, riding shotgun, had been eyeballing a sore case of razor burn at the time of the incident and was therefore unable to provide me with an affirmed visual. When I explained my story to the drive-thru girl at the Taco Bell, she tried to tell me that it was a natural gas pocket that could have exploded in the night. I highly doubt it. Everyone else I notified either blinked at me with bewilderment or ignored me completely. But I knew what it was. Or at least I had a better idea as to what it could have been. It's impossible to prove that I'm right, but what I think I saw was a large, imposing gateway into an unknown dimension. That's right, a Nibiru spy portal floating around my neighborhood, discharging space-traveling real estate agents out of thin air. I swear on everything that is good and true, I am not fucking with you. I wouldn't do that. Not now, when I know that there could be an extraterrestrial operative snooping around at night. All I'm saying, people, is that we have got to keep our eyes peeled. Because there is a celestial espionage afoot. And we all may very well be subject to a highly unexpected probing. Thank you.
Not a virginity story. Oh, Sophia, I need you to pick the next person.
Okay. Adaya.
Adaya. All right, judges ready? Basic bitches. We got an 8.5. 4 Jews, 5 opinions. All right. Just judging. 8.5. 9 from Just Judging. 8 from Good Try But. 9 from Judge Judy. All right. .co.il. We ready? 7.5. All right, let's give it up for the performer, not for the score. I give you Adaya?
All it took was one little comment. Ads, I think it's time you started to wax. I was informed as 13-year-old me relaxed, my head resting on my school backpack. Digesting the news, I sat up and started to peruse the long, luscious leg hairs staring back. It wasn't said as an attack, more as a matter of fact, and so with little to no tact, I answered back, "Really? Even though they're blonde and not black?" All it took was one little comment. And with the situation clearly qualified, I proceeded to run and hide. Because what for moments ago had been invisible to my eye was suddenly blinding me like a neon sign. And had I not been emotionally stunted, I probably would have cried, but instead I hopelessly hunted to try and hide, frantically pulling down my skirt to salvage my pride. All it took was one little comment. And within a 24-hour time frame, my loyal and way cooler best friend came over, trained and equipped to rip, strip, grip away my shame. 1 hour later, wincing in pain, my legs red and bumpy and aflame, I stopped for a second and stared in vain at what I realized was the beginning of a whole new ball game. All it took was one little comment. And what for 13 years had been one body, one mind, a whole, a unit, a temple, a shrine had suddenly become enemy and ally, foe and friend, my leg hairs and I. All it took was one little comment. For a 13-year-old girl to learn not to connect the idea of being whole with that of being perfect. And if the goal was to be normal, then there are those who expect you to look in the mirror and choose not to accept. And therefore, one should question how a mother responds to the news that her girl now has hair where once it was smooth, because she can't show her own and therefore prove that it's normal and natural and that she approves. And therefore, one can so often assume that the only answer she can give is, darling, you're perfect, but mine, I had it removed. And the winner is Andy Bregman.
Andy's up next. Oh my God, the first time waxing. That was not fun. All right. Thank you, Adaya. And we're going to go with the scores. Basic Bitches, 7.5. .co.il, 8.5. Just Judging, we have a 9. Good Try But gives a 10. First 10 of the evening, guys. First 10 of the evening. Judge Judy, an 8. All right, thank you. All right, that's about it for right now. And here's Andy.
Hi, this is a night of a lot of firsts because I've only spoken in a microphone in church. So I'm really about to combust into flames at any moment. I also have a story of when I was 7 in 1977, so I was around in 1972, but mine tends to be a little bit happier than 72. When I was 7 in 1977, these 7 unwavering truths govern my world. Number 1, being lucky enough to be 7 in 1977, my very favorite number tripled, was the best thing in life ever. Number 2, as far as sneakers went, which one went on which foot was one of the greatest unsolvable mysteries of the universe. Number 3, the alphabet was made up of 23 letters, LNMO being one of them. Number 4, watching TV was blindness just waiting to happen. Sooner or later, sitting too close to the screen or accidentally watching in the dark was simply inevitable. Number 5, while stepping on a crack would break my mother's back, forgetting to hold my breath when passing a graveyard would kill everybody I knew immediately. Number 6, a swallowed piece of chewing gum would stick to my ribs for life. A swallowing of an orange pit would make an entire tree grow in my stomach, and the branches would pop out of my ears. I didn't even like to think of what would happen if I swallowed a watermelon seed. Number 7, in church, a passionate rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb, instead of quiet prayer, was probably okay with God, as long as I thought a lot about Jesus while I was singing it. The night before my next birthday, the horrible day that would make me 8 in 1978, I cried myself to sleep at the injustice of my loss of my 777. And for the first time, I realized the passage of time.
Is there one left?
There's one left. Right there. Last person? I think so. He's in like the very bottom corner.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you made it. Good job.
All right, next up is Rachel, and the last person performing is Rachel. All right. Basic Bitches, 7.5. How do you guys feel about that? Yeah? Another 7.5, 7.5, 7.7, just to give you a lot of hard time, and 8. All right, awesome. 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.7, and 8. Got it. Excellent, Rachel. All right, here's Rachel.
Kamikaze squirrel. I wear my shoes hard. Even a pair bought that same day will look like they've been chewed on. I wear my life hard. I beat life like my shoes beat pavement, wearing out the sole. I bite life and leave teeth marks in my shoes. Some may call this self-destructive, that I destroy myself much as I destroy my shoes. But life was meant for living, like these boots were made for walking. And I have said before that I would rather puke in some strange drunk's house than sit around bored shitless. This type of self-destructive behavior is not original. There are suicidal lemmings. And I once knew a kamikaze squirrel who, having the insatiable desire to suck the marrow out of life, searched for more on the other side of the road, where upon mid-crossing he had the ultimate of life's experiences and learned the meaning of life and death. Carpe diem. He wore his tires hard, and I cry every day for that kamikaze squirrel. Green light, red light. Green light, red light. We are conditioned as children. As adults, we dutifully fall in line. Cars like lines of ants. And I try to make eye contact with my fellow drivers, each car holding a human-sized ant, mandibles clicking in time to the radio, antennae waving in frustration at the traffic, like lines of naked people stooped over, carrying a giant potato chip or a huge piece of chocolate cake, searching for that elusive spilled can of Coke. And the hive mind tells us that there is no more individual morality required. You can step over the homeless guy on your way to work. You don't have to worry about the gypsy, the Jew, the gay, the poet, the Palestinian. You don't have to worry about the hundreds of dead animals lining our roads that I see every day on my way to work. These poor creatures that are run over again and again because no one dares step out of line to bury them. Another day driving to work. And 2 cars in front of me swerve around something. And as I get closer, I see it's a gray squirrel, and I start to swerve, and then, no! My brakes scream the car to a halt, and I pull over, and I get out, and I walk back over to the squirrel. As I get closer, I see some red blood on his mouth and a few more red paint drops on the pavement next to him, and then I see some yellow squiggly thing, and I'm disgusted, and I'm about to get sick, and then I'm shake it off, refocus. It's just a cute, cuddly stuffed animal. And I bend down, and I tenderly wrap him in a towel, and I pick him up, and he's amazingly soft. It's not stiff and hard at all like a stuffed animal. So soft, his body gives to the pressure of my hands, so light, so living flesh, newly dead. And then his whisker touches my hand, and I jump, and now I'm really freaking out. Like, what to do? What now? Where to bury him? In this guy's yard? Holding the promise of a squirrel graveyard? Row upon row of unmarked tombstones, for they too are fighting a never-ending battle against human innovation, roads never there before, separating squirrels from their families and their trees, and they are poorly equipped to face the chrome grille of your car or the tread of your tire, a never-ending battle of nonviolence and civil disobedience, and they are mowed down and massacred, having no Gandhi-like leader to capture world attention and possible amnesty. And at this moment, I have become the self-proclaimed defender of squirrels. If only in their moment of death they can have worth and dignity, and I can keep my own humanity, but I can't keep them out of the street. I toy with the idea of posting signs. There are deer crossing signs. There are duck crossing signs. Why not squirrel crossing signs? But nobody cares about squirrels. They're untamable. They belong to no one. If you hit a deer, it fucks up your car. But a squirrel won't hurt your car. There is no pet owner to mourn its loss. That leaves the Squirrel God and me, the Squirrel Defense League, standing there holding a dead squirrel in my arms. I bury him underneath what I imagine to be his favorite tree and go back to my car crying. I smoke a cigarette, fighting back nausea as I drive the rest of the way to work. And I guess I'm making big points with the Squirrel God. But today, I got in trouble for being late to work. And that, my friends, was the first time I buried a squirrel.
I hope it's the last time, too. Aww.
There's no squirrels in Israel.
Oh, okay. I never thought about that. That's true. All right, while we're getting the scores ready. Are we ready? Okay, good. We ready, everyone? Scores. All right, basic bitches, we got a 9. Just judging, we got an 8. Judge Judy, we got a 7. Goodbye, but 7. Good try. Sorry. My deepest apologies. It has. And 7.5. All right, excellent. All right, so while we get the scores and the final scores ready to go, I want to make a couple of announcements. Next month's slam will be on the 21st because some weird reason all of the dates are the same this month and next month. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. But anyway, Saturday the 21st at 7:30. We're not sure where yet. If you guys have ideas for locations, sorry, no phone calls. We're gonna nope, no phone calls. All right.
Yeah,
Big. All right. You want me to talk to her? No. Okay. Okay. So the 21st. Anyone have ideas for places? Please let me know. Come up to me afterwards and talk to me. I'm gonna give a big thank you over to Lavi, to Maria, to Itai, to Elad, and to the stage for helping out today. And a big thank you. I'm going to see if I can get this right. Hanasicha Katan? Did I get it? Yeah? All right. Hanasicha Katan for hosting us. Thank you guys so much. All right. Let's see who's the winner. The top 2 people are going to be performing in the Grand Slam. So let's keep that in mind. We have Lavi. Well, he was our sacrificial poet with a 6.75. Ayelet had a 7. Shira 8.2. Teddy had a 7.8. Asher had an 8.8, which I think Mati should actually get that 8.8. Karen had a 7.3. Daniel 7.8. Sophia 8.5. Adaya 8.5. Andy 7.6. Rachel 7.5. Adaya and Sophia. No. Adaya. Oh. 3 people. Slam off? No, okay. We'll have 3 winners this time. All right. So Asher, Sophia, and Adaya, you are our winners. All right, guys, so please go online, like the Stage Slam series so you can know if you have ideas or suggestions for themes. Please let me know. Please pay your bill. Please clean up and have a great night.
And thank you to Karen for all of this. She's too modest.